My good people, my good people. Hello, world. I'd like to welcome y'all back to the show that's hot with your boy Rob Scott. This is Rob's Two Cents, man. What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody enjoyed their weekend, had a fun sports filled weekend. I mean, it was rocking from Friday to today. A lot of action is going on. Got some things that was controversial that's been said online with certain players in the NBA. We're gonna talk about the whole Draymond situation and his response to everything that's been going on that he alluded to on the Draymond Green show. Shout out to his podcast. We got to talk about the messed up luck for Ja Morant, man. I'm gonna let y'all know what's going on with Ja and what we can possibly expect out that situation. The NFL playoffs are upon us, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to see. It's time to see where people put their money where their mouth is. It's time to see who's the creme de la creme, who's the top of the top in the NFL. Because honestly, I think every team that's in the playoffs right now deserve to be in the playoffs right now. But before we get into all that, I want y'all to kick back, relax, kick your feet up, get you a nice little drink or whatever you use to chillax with when you're watching good entertainment. And tune in for the hottest sports conversation in the nation. This is Rob's Two Cents. We got to start off talking about the Bears. Our season is over. There's no postseason action for us here in Chicago. Went into Green Bay, last game of the season. We were hoping two seasons were going to end that day. We were going to say goodbye to the Chicago Bears until next year, and we were hopefully going to put Green Bay on the couches right next to us. Green Bay had other plans. Green Bay said that they wanted some postseason action, and they came out there and played like it. We end up losing to the Packers 17-9, and it was just horrible. It was we reverted back to our old ways after we had these. I think we were won 3 games in a row, or not even 3 games in a row because we lost to Cleveland, but we were on. We had momentum on our side. Like we were trending in the right direction, and the Bears reverted back to the old Chicago Bears. Justin Fields had an okay game. It wasn't the game I thought he was going to have due to the fact that, to me personally, I thought Justin Fields was playing for his career, at least to be a starter here in Chicago. He was 11 to 16 for 148 yards on the day, threw no touchdowns, but most importantly, he had no fumbles, he threw no interceptions, he took care of the ball. The defense, on the other hand, they did all they could to Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers, and they let a rookie kill us. I think his name is Wicks. 2 touchdowns. Jordan Love, awesome day. I mean, the dude has been playing out of his mind. I got to give it to Jordan Love. We're going to get more into Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers in a second. This segment is mainly on what happens to the Chicago Bears. Where do we go from here? Because the Bears are now in a predicament where we officially, as you guys know, we own Carolina's pick. DJ Moore is the gift that keeps on giving. Thank God for DJ Moore. Due to that trade last season, we own Carolina's pick, and as you guys know, Carolina only won what 1 game this season, so they were going to have the number 1 pick, which essentially means that the Chicago Bears has the number 1 pick in the draft. Where do the Bears go from here? Now, a lot of fans were chanting out last week, "We want Fields," and I agree. We want Fields. I don't see Caleb Williams being this transcendent quarterback that everybody keeps saying. I don't see Michael Penix Jr., who got mollywopped yesterday in the college championship football game. I don't see him being this transcendent quarterback. It's a lot of good quarterbacks in the draft this year, but do I really want to start over and leave from the train that's trending in the right direction with Justin Fields? Let's look at what happened yesterday. Against the Packers, we threw for 117 passing yards and 75 rushing yards. That is not a good recipe for success. We couldn't even get 100 yards as a total team in rushing. Are we going to blame that on Fields? Fields did not turn the ball over not one time. That's been one of my gripes and arguments with Justin Fields is his ball security. Justin Fields played a decent game until he got hurt in the fourth quarter, which that's just been a trademark all year. The Bears cannot protect Justin Fields. The offensive line is horrible. If the offensive line name was Star 67, if they had a collective name of Akeem Olajuwon, they wouldn't block shit. Horrible. Everybody talks about the development of Justin Fields and what he can do better. It's hard to develop when you're in fear for your life. How many times have we seen Justin Fields go down and slowly get back up? That's why it's time to get rid of Lucas. I think that's our center name. He got to go. Like, where the Bears go from here? If you're asking me, if you're asking for Rob's 2 cents, we own the number 1 draft pick. Let's look at, I got my notes here. Let's look who has the top 5 draft picks in the upcoming 2024 draft. The Chicago Bears, we have the first pick. The Washington Commanders has the second pick. The New England Patriots has the third pick. The Arizona Cardinals have the 4th pick, and the Los Angeles Chargers has the 5th pick in the upcoming draft. If I'm the Bears, and I talked about this with my cousin, shout out to my cousin. If I'm the Bears, I'm getting greedy. I'm going to trade that number 1 pick to a team like Washington, to a team like New England, who I know for a fact is going to go grab a quarterback. They can have Caleb Williams. They can have Michael Penix Jr. They can have Bo Nix. They can have any other college quarterback that's going to enter into this draft. That way, let's use New England for an example. I can trade that number 1 pick to New England, take their 3rd pick, take their 2nd round pick, or if they have a later pick in the 1st round, I can take that pick as well because they desperately need a quarterback. And Bill Belichick is probably at the position right now where he's going to do anything and everything to keep his job. Now we can get greedy because at 3rd pick, I'm still going to get Marvin Harrison Jr. Washington is not going to go grab a receiver, not with Howell back there as your play caller, as your quarterback on the field. Washington is going to be looking to get a quarterback. They just fired Ron Rivera. They're going to be trying to revamp that offense. They still got my boy Eric Bieniemy over there calling plays as the offensive coordinator. They're not looking to get Marvin Harrison Jr. They need somebody to actually run the offense. So if I'm the Bears, I get greedy. I hope Ryan Poles have been listening to the fans. I hope he's been seeing the development of Justin Fields. Because Justin Fields, I believe, can be a great quarterback in the NFL. We're talking about a guy who's shown he can be accurate. We're talking about a guy who's shown he is deadly when he uses his legs. I was just on my boy AC Live. I don't know why the Bears don't run a West Coast offense. With Khalil Herbert, Dante Foreman, and Justin Fields, you can make that literally a 3-headed monster and scare the living hell out of people because they don't know who's going to keep the ball. And then you go get Marvin Harrison Jr., you add a playmaker with DJ Moore. We're talking about a Bears team that could be very deadly. I like Darnell Mooney. Don't get me wrong. Mooney's my guy. But if I can go get Marvin Harrison Jr., Mooney, you got to go. We got Amon-Ra St. Brown, little brother on the team. We got Tyler Scott on the team. These are not world breakers. You add a Marvin Harrison Jr. to this lineup with Cole Kmet and DJ Moore. Now we cooking. Now we got an offense that can cook. And you can go get you some veteran offensive guards because that's what we need. Because too many times, too often, I've seen the defense literally rush right up the gut and get to Justin Fields. They're not even playing the edges. They pushing right up the gut. I think our center gets paid to get off the ground. This dude doesn't block anything. So I think right now the Bears are in a great position. The other question comes: do we get rid of Matt Eberflus and Luke Getsy? They have a record of 10-24 in the 2 seasons that Eberflus has been our head coach. Now Eberflus is starting to grow on me because when he started to get the personnel on the defense, when we got Montez Sweat and our defense started to get a little healthier, the Bears defense looked good. We led the league in interceptions. We led the league in run defense. This defense is compatible, but we can definitely get some of them young boys out of the draft. I don't think you get rid of Eberflus, but Luke Getsy has to go. As an offensive coordinator, I think he relied too much. He was a former offensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. He relied too much on let Aaron Rodgers make plays. And see, that's what happens when with coordinators who play with great offensive-minded quarterbacks or have a team full of playmakers, they can get exposed once you don't have that anymore. Like this dude has a playbook full of screens, and I don't understand that. I seen the Bears literally call a screenplay 10 plays in a row. Like I'm like, how many damn screens? Versions of the screen can you run? Now I think Eberflus he's had a positive effect on the defense, but this offense needs a wake up call. We're talking about Justin Fields on the year, who has 16 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, threw for over 2,500 yards. This was probably his best year yet as a Chicago Bear. Only had 4 fumbles, so he had 13 turnovers in total. He was sacked 44 times this season, which is the fifth highest sack quarterback this season, and the man only played 13 games. This is information you can find on Google. We're talking about a defense who's been pretty good. We have an okay running game. And bringing DJ Moore finally gave us a playmaker that we needed. Why is it that the Bears did not have success this season? That's because of our offensive coordinator and our offensive line. Did you notice that when Justin Fields started to use his legs more, we won more? Because you don't know, most teams in the NFL have traditionally had problems with quarterbacks that are mobile, which is why Michael Vick has such a successful career. Donovan McNabb has such a successful career. Lamar Jackson is right now having a successful career. Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers. Need I continue to go on about how successful it is for a quarterback to be able to get out of harm's way and to manipulate the pocket and also extend plays? I hope I swear to y'all, I hope the Bears do not trade Justin Fields. If they do, I might officially like not be a Chicago Bears fan anymore. Like I was making a joke earlier with a couple of my boys. I said I'll become a Packers fan. If the Bears trade Justin Fields and keep Luke Getsy and keep Eberflus, I am officially through with the Chicago Bears. Now I kid about the Packers fan. I could never be a Packers fan. I'm sorry. We don't rock with the cheeseheads here in Chicago. But damn it, I hope Ryan Poles make the right decision as the GM and he go gets us a generational talent in Marvin Harrison Jr. and the Bears finally start to get on the track to becoming a great team. Because I see it. I see it. Chicago is a market that people want to play for. We just have to create a culture of winning. So hopefully the Bears hear my beck and call. Chicago, get it together, man. Get it together. Ladies and gentlemen, the NFL playoffs is upon us. Oh, what a time it is to be alive. We're going to talk about the NFC and the AFC playoff picture. The playoffs begin this weekend, starting Saturday, going all the way through Monday. We have some great wild card games coming up. Before we get into that, let's get right into the comments. Hey, my boy Tyrone, ATY, I appreciate you for jumping on. Travis, I appreciate you, brother. We about to talk about these playoffs right now because, oh my God. Oh, first of all, too, DJ Moore agreed with me as well. I don't want to not show this video. Listen to what DJ Moore had to say about the Bears play caller before we get into the playoffs. Check this out.
But we got the players to do it. We got our quarterback to do it. Everything else we just need to call the plays that put us in position to have explosive down the field or catching runs like we did today. So we just got to be an explosive team and not a team that's just behind the sticks.
This is your playmaker saying that. In 1 year playing with Chicago, in one season, he clearly agrees with what I'm saying. You have to put the ball in your playmaker's hand. What's the point of getting a playmaker? Brock Purdy, to me, is a decent quarterback. He's a good quarterback. But when you have Deebo Samuels on your team and Christian McCaffrey on your team, it makes your job as a quarterback a lot easier, doesn't it? When you just allow your playmakers to make plays. That's all DJ Moore is saying. We have to learn to play downfield and not be behind the sticks. I can't keep talking about the bit. We definitely gonna be keeping our eyes on what's going on. I personally like my boy Mike Hughes. Shout out to my boy Mike Hughes. I don't I just don't understand what's going on. Why Luke Getsy hasn't been fired yet? I don't get it. I'm not gonna sit up here and catch an aneurysm over it. But Luke Getsy should have been fired yesterday. Like the moment that we lost to Green Bay and we walked off the field, Luke Getsy was supposed to get the call. Your services are no longer required. Or in the words of my boy Cat Williams, I am so tired of your presence. Dismiss. That's what needed to happen. Let's get into these playoffs though, man. In the NFC, oh my goodness, y'all. Let's take a look at this playoff picture. In the NFC, we have the San Francisco 49ers at 1. The Dallas Cowboys, who surprisingly came back and won the NFC East at 2. We had the Detroit Lions, who represented the NFC North and won their first divisional title since 1992, I think. And then we had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who just happened to play in the weakest division in football, coming in at 4. In your wild card, you have the Eagles at 5, Los Angeles Rams at 6, and the Green Bay Packers at 7. Look to the AFC side. We got the Baltimore Ravens, who was not just the best team in the AFC, they was the best team in the NFL, sitting in first place. Buffalo Bills squeaked by Miami, was able to get the dub, coming in at 2, winning that AFC East division. At number 3, the Kansas City Chiefs winning the AFC West once again. And at number 4, the rookie-led Houston Texans able to get the victory against the Colts, able to outlast Jacksonville in that division. And the Houston Texans, shout out to CJ Stroud, shout out to rookie head coach D'Amico Ryan, shout out to them boys out there in H-Town. I'm actually kind of rooting for this team, man. I think the Texans got something special brewing over there. Coming in at number 5, the Cleveland Browns, who was my sleeper team in the AFC conference. At number 6, we got the Miami Dolphins. And at number 7, shout out to Coach Mike Tomlin, who once again got the Pittsburgh Steelers in the damn playoffs. And this man continues his streak on continuing of having winning seasons. Shout out to my boy Coach Mike Tomlin. As you guys see, I'm going to be giving you my predictions on all of the upcoming playoff games. We got 6 games coming up this weekend. 2 games being played on Saturday, 1 game being played on Monday, and 3 games being played on Sunday. It is going to be a hell of a time, and we're gonna get into it. As you guys know, let's start off with the NFC first. Let me read this comment. My boy Frankie got issues, but I appreciate the compliment. Oh my goodness, man. That's a pause, everybody. Pause on that. Let's get into it though, man. San Francisco, as we know, has a first round bye, as they was the number one seed in the NFC. So we're gonna get a chance to watch the rest of the NFC go at it. I'm not gonna go in order. We're gonna talk NFC. We're gonna talk AFC, man. We're gonna talk a lot of good stuff, man. Cowboys versus Green Bay Packers. They're gonna be playing Sunday in the second game. This should be a pretty interesting game because I got to give a shout out to Jordan Love, man. We saw Jordan Love, this year was his first official start, first official season as a starter for the Green Bay Packers as their starting quarterback. And there were a lot of questions surrounding Jordan Love because we've seen him come in, play some time back in previous seasons. I think this is his third season, and he didn't look good. Throwing interceptions. I think one game he came in, he just threw three interceptions back to back. And a lot of people was questioning how great Jordan Love can be. And that coach Matt LaFleur, he clearly never lost faith in Jordan Love. I mean, he was one of the guys saying, you know what, if Aaron Rodgers want to leave, he's one of the advocates saying, let him go. We have our quarterback of the future in Jordan Love. And apparently he was right. Jordan Love has done something not even Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers could do. He led the Packers to the playoffs in his first season as the starting quarterback. Aaron Rodgers didn't get to the playoffs until his second season. So what Jordan Love has been able to do with this squad, this Cowboys team, this Green Bay Packers team, it's been amazing. And even though I'm a Chicago Bears fan, you got to give credit where credit is due. Packers ended the game on a 3-game win streak, but my only concern with the Packers is on the road, they're 4-5. So they're going to be going to Dallas, in Dallas, to play Dallas in Jerry World. And Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys are undefeated at home. They're 8-0 when playing in their stadium. Dak Prescott has had a hell of a year. He put on an MVP type year. The guy threw for 36 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, over 4,500 yards. That offense has been rocking and rolling. CeeDee Lamb has stepped up as wide receiver one and stepped up as one of the best receivers in the NFL right now. CeeDee Lamb is a dog. They bring in Brandon Cooks. We know he's a reliable receiver. He stepped up into that number two due to the fact that Michael Gallup has regressed in his progression as a player. Then you bring in a guy like Jake Ferguson, the rookie. The guy's been playing out of his mind, the rookie tight end. Pollard. He's been up and down throughout the season, but they've been able to sustain a pretty decent run game in Dallas. It's not the best by any means, but they run the ball enough to keep to keep the attack balanced. But what can you say about that? We talking about a guy that was a turnover machine, and he's had great ball security this year, and he's just been firing on all cylinders. I got to give Dak Prescott love, but I also got to give Jordan love too, so to speak. 32 touchdowns and 11 interceptions on the year. This guy's been playing out of his mind. You got Christian Watson over there. Like I said, they got the rookie Wicks over there. They've been playing out of their mind. The two-headed monsters on the running backs with AJ Dillon and what's his name, Aaron, the other Aaron. These guys have been playing Aaron Jones. These guys have been playing out of their mind. You got to give the Green Bay Packers a lot of credit here for making it as a wild card in this season, man. Didn't give up, played hard to the very last game. Defense is okay. I know they got a lot of guys that's injured right now, like the Christian Watson. We hoping that he gets a chance to come back. They got Jaden Reed, who's also been hurt. We'll see if he'll be active for this Green Bay versus Cowboys game. We know Cowboys kind of been through a similar situation. They lost Diggs earlier in the season, their star-studded corner, and the plan was to have Diggs and Stephon Gilmore on both sides. Oh my God, man! But this defense still been rocking and rolling, led by Michael Parsons. Got D Law over there, man. This is going to be a pretty good game. I'm predicting. I'm not going to predict a blowout, but I am predicting Dallas to win at least by 2 scores. Like Dallas has the fire. They have too much firepower. I just don't know if the Green Bay Packers defense are going to be able to stop everybody on the field, especially if Christian Watson is playing and Jaden Reed is playing. You get all these playmakers on the field at the same time, it's going to spell trouble for the Green Bay Packers. And I'm sorry, it's going to spell trouble. Yeah, it's going to spell trouble for the Green Bay Packers. Now, Green Bay hopefully can get their playmakers, as I just mentioned, and give Dallas a fight. But with CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks and Jake Ferguson and these dudes, Shoemaker, he definitely got some comparable receivers on that end, and that offensive line has been protecting the hell out of that. So I'm predicting Green Bay to win this game, but I'm definitely excited to see this Green Bay versus Packers game. I don't want to give out a score. If I had to give out a score, I'll go 28-17 Cowboys. Next, we got the Detroit Lions versus the Los Angeles Rams. This is going to be an interesting game. This is going to be the first time in history where two quarterbacks are going to be playing against their former team. Matthew Stafford, of course, used to play for the Detroit Lions. We know about his successful years there. Him and Megatron being an awesome 1-2 punch combo. And Jared Goff used to play for the Los Angeles Rams. He even got to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, he had to go against Tom Brady and he wasn't able to get the job done. They make the trade. Stafford gets the Rams back to the Super Bowl, and they were able to close the deal. This is going to be a pretty interesting game because both teams have awesome playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. We look at the Los Angeles Rams. We got Puka Nacua. We got Cooper Cup. We got Kyron Williams. You got some guys over there that can definitely make a difference in the game. And if you're looking at the Detroit Lions, we're talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, David Montgomery, Jameer Gibbs, Reynolds. These dudes are stacked. In fact, I think the offense of the Detroit Lions had the second best ranked offense in the league, either second or third. They got to be right behind San Francisco 49ers and the Miami Dolphins. I mean, we're talking about a star studded offense. Now, I think the question is going to be what can the defense of Detroit do? Now, we know about Aiden Hutchinson and we know they got some linebackers that can fly. But to me, if Aiden Hutchinson is not getting pressure, the Detroit Lions defense is not as good as what the Rams defense can be. I'm going to predict an upset because I told you guys from jump, I do not trust Jared Goff. He's played a hell of a season this year, and he's rallied this team to win the North, which I am shocked. But Jared Goff, there's a reason why the Los Angeles Rams traded for Matthew Stafford. Because when the lights get the brightest, I don't know how Goff is going to respond to that pressure. I'm going with the Los Angeles Rams to win 14-9. I'm going with the Rams to win this game. Last game, and they're going to be playing in prime time, Sunday Night Football. Also with Detroit, Sam Laporta could be sidelined with the injury because he went out in that game that they played against the Vikings. So uh, if they don't have Sam Laporta, I just don't. It's going to be really tough. You're going to be asking Amon-Ra St. Brown to do a lot. You're going to be asking Jameer Gibbs and David Montgomery to do a lot. You're going to have Reynolds kind of stepping up into a number two receiver to make up for the lack of offensive production that you would have got if Laporta wasn't injured. So that's another reason why I'm going with the Rams because we don't know how healthy Sam Laporta is. Last game that's going to be happening for the NFC, Eagles versus Tampa Bay. They're going to be playing on Monday Night Football. Now, we all know the Eagles started off 10-1, and then they just completely fell apart at the end of the season. And I said it. I've said it once. I'll say it again. The Eagles reminded me so much of the Minnesota Vikings last year. And when I say that, what I'm saying is They got every 50-50 ball that they needed to get to win the game. They either got a gracious call from the referee, a team like the Kansas City Chiefs, who has receivers who just can't catch for shit, kept dropping passes, dropped a pass that would have been a walk-off home run, and Marquez Valdez-Scantling, or they just got the ball to go their way. And once that luck ran out, the Eagles have not looked that good. I mean, they got whooped on by the 49ers uh, badly. And the New York Giants in the last game of the season just beat the hell out of them boys. Now, Jalen Hurts is hurt. AJ Brown is hurt, and a couple guys on that defense is hurt. So right now the Eagles are not looking too good, and they're going to be going up against a Tampa Bay Buccaneers team that was 4-1 in their last 5 games. That literally had to fight. Now I know the conference in the NFC South was trash, but Tampa Bay still won and were 9-8 on the year. So like you can't oversleep this team. Baker Mayfield been playing out of his mind. We know he got Mike Evans. Mike Evans, you can guarantee him for a touchdown every game. Got Rashad White over there. Still got Chris Godwin. Still have a pretty decent defense with Shaq Barrett and the rest of those guys over there. Don't be surprised if Tampa Bay pulls this out against the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know, man. Hurts has not been playing good. He hasn't been playing like the leader I know him to be. As I mentioned, uh, offense. Stromile Smith to me hasn't been able to produce the run game like they had last year. Uh, you just without them being able to run the ball, you putting a lot of pressure on Jalen Hurts and asking him to be a pocket pass. You're asking Jalen Hurts to win the game for you with his arms. That ain't Jalen Hurts' game. They need to be able to rush the ball. Now he has some great playmakers over there: Dante Smith, Goldert, AJ Brown, as I alluded to. But AJ Brown is hurt. We don't even know if AJ Brown is going to suit up on Monday to play Tampa Bay. Luckily, he gets an extra day of rest. But that's going to be a very tough team. Tampa right now, they're on a roll. They didn't rest any of their guys because they had to win that game in order to win the division. Right now, I think Tampa Bay has the possibility of upsetting the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's what I'm going with that game. In that game, I'll say Tampa Bay wins 17-14. It's going to be a close game. Going to come down to a field goal. But I think Tampa Bay has enough weapons to pull it out. AC, I appreciate you for tuning in, my boy. I appreciate that. Yeah. Jordan Love he's been playing out of his mind. Hey, D-Lo, man. Hey, appreciate you for tuning in, brother. Appreciate everybody for tuning in, man. Make sure if you guys are watching, man, hit the like, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Tell everybody about the YouTube channel. Tell them, man, your boy Rob, man, just giving his 2 cents and trying to become the man in Chicago sports. That's what we do. As we look into the AFC side, as I mentioned, the Baltimore Ravens, best team in the AFC, has the first round bye. They will not be playing this weekend. However, we will see Buffalo versus Pittsburgh in the first game on Sunday. And this one's not going to be a long prediction. Even though Buffalo, to me, has not been playing well, they still have been able to, since they fired the offensive coordinator, they've been running the ball better with James Cook and involving Josh Allen in the run game, which I think has been able to hold teams off on not knowing exactly what's going to happen with the Buffalo Bills offenses. They still got Stephon Diggs over there. They still got my boy Gabe Davis over there. They got Dawson Knox over there. And I forgot the other tight end they got over there. But he's been playing out of his mind. So I think the Bills should win this game pretty handily, even though Pittsburgh defense is pretty good. We don't know how healthy TJ Watt is. And I just don't trust any of their quarterbacks. Even if Kenny Pickett was still there, I don't trust him as a quarterback. I don't trust Mason Plumlee as or whatever his name is. I don't trust him as a quarterback. I don't trust the other guy, Mitchell Trubisky as a quarterback. I don't Mason Rudolph. I don't trust any of those guys as a quarterback. I think the Bills should win this. The Bills should win this pretty handily. I'm saying 21-3, Buffalo over Pittsburgh. In the next game, which would be the second game of a doublehead on Saturday, we got the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Miami Dolphins. And boy, oh boy, That should be a great game. Now, Kansas City, as we know, have had offensive struggles. Receivers can't catch the ball worth a damn. Need to put out an APB for missing Travis Kelsey because Kelsey, since his name has been affiliated with Taylor Swift, that man has disappeared. Oh, where has Travis Kelsey gone? Because somebody need to find him. Because the Kansas City Chiefs, if they expect to even sniff the Super Bowl this year, they're gonna need Travis Kelsey to show up. Especially because Rasheed Rice is your best guy. He's your best receiver on the team. Kadarius Toney, he sucks. Marquez Valdez Scanlon can't catch the ball worth a damn. You're gonna need some help. Now, luckily, through their woes and through their struggles, they found some help in Isaiah Pacheco, and that run game has been very great for the Kansas City Chiefs. When have we ever heard of the Kansas City Chiefs relying on the run? That shows you how crazy this is. And that defense have been star studded. They've won a lot of games this season because of their defense. On the Miami Dolphins side of things, though, they were one of the top offenses in the NFL. But the problem with Miami came down to, can you beat the teams that you need to beat, not the teams you're supposed to beat? Can you beat the teams you need to beat? Can you beat the teams that's over 500? Can you beat the teams that's going into the playoffs? They couldn't even beat the Bills to win the division. We're talking about Miami was leading this division all year, all season, and would become a wild card, something similar to how Philadelphia did against Dallas. So I'm not gonna go against the greatness of Pat Mahomes, even though I love what Miami's done offensively. They have great playmakers over there as well. You got Mostert, who we don't know will be healthy for this playoff game. They got my boy Devon A. Chain, who's just been a monster running back for this team and one of the fastest guys in the league. You got Jalen Waddle. You have Tyreek Hill, Cheetah, and Tua has been a pretty decent quarterback this year. I don't like to throw that greater word around, but he's been a decent quarterback this year. As I mentioned, Miami had the best ranked offense in the league. Now their defense is questionable. If Kansas City receivers can catch the damn ball and they can score some touchdowns, they should win this game pretty handily because Tua, like Jared Goff, once the lights are bright, he disappears. That's the reason why Miami has not beat a team with a winning record this year. That's why they had not beat a team that's in the playoffs this year. That's why they lost to the Buffalo Bills to win their division. I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs over the Miami Dolphins. I don't. Back in the day, this probably would have been a shootout. I'm going to say 24-17. Kansas City walks away with the dub. And lastly, we got the Houston Texans versus the Cleveland Browns. These guys will be playing on Saturday, I believe, in the first game of the doubleheader. Uh, Houston, what can we say about Houston? Houston was the feel good story of this NFL season, led by a rookie quarterback in CJ Stroud, led by a rookie head coach in D'Amico Ryan. These guys were able to turn everything around and win the AFC South, outlasting the Jacksonville Jaguars, who pretty much had control of that division throughout the season. But Trevor Lawrence started to play backwards. He was not playing like the Trevor Lawrence we all had hoped for. Watching him play last year, a game in which he threw 3 interceptions against the Tennessee Titans and still came back and won that game. We didn't see that Trevor Lawrence at the end of the season. But CJ Stroud stepped up in a big way. We're talking about as a quarterback this year, he threw for over 4,100 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. The Texans was top 15 in total offense all year. They have some playmakers on that side of the ball. Robert Woods, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Devin Singletary, Dalton Schultz, Noah Brown. They got some guys that can play football. Now they've run through some injuries. They won't have Tank Dell suit up against the Cleveland Browns. We're waiting to see if Robert Woods and Nico Collins is going to join the party. I mean, not Nico Collins, sorry, Noah Brown is going to join the party. Nico had an excellent game against the Indianapolis Colts, and he was one of the main contributors to the reason that the Texans were able to pull out that victory and win the division. But unfortunately, sometimes all fairy tales must come to an end because they're going to be playing the Cleveland Browns, led by my boy Joe off the couch Flacco. And Flacco, I've told you guys many times, has experience with teams like Cleveland Browns. He played for the Baltimore Ravens. He was a starting quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens. He was a Super Bowl winning quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens. What did the Ravens have that the Cleveland Browns have? A great defense and a good running game. All Joe Flacco has to do is take care of the ball. Now, he's been turned over crazy, but he hasn't caused any mistakes that will make Cleveland lose the game, which is why Cleveland was one of the best teams in the NFL this season. Garrett, that boy Myles Garrett on that defense is a monster. And Cleveland is not without having their own playmakers. They got Amari Cooper. They got David Njoku. They got Kareem Hunt. They got Joe Ford. Now, unfortunately, they won't have Nick Chubb, who went out earlier this year with a gruesome injury to his leg. But they still are comparable. And they still have one of the best defenses in the league, especially when it comes to the pass rush. And CJ, unless Singletary is able to get his game going, I just don't see Houston being able to do anything with the Cleveland Browns offensively because that defense is stacked and they are tough and they get to the quarterback. And I expect, I expect them to get to CJ Stroud. I got the Cleveland Browns winning this game. I'm going I'm gonna say 21-10. I'm going Cleveland Browns over the Houston Texans. And hey man, make sure y'all play the tape. Once we watch the playoffs, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be right about most of these games. And any of these sports betting places, if you want to sponsor Rob's 2 cents, you just let me know. Uh let's get into the NBA a little bit, y'all, before we get up out of here. I'm gonna give you a new segment, ladies and gentlemen. Rob's top 5 teams in the NBA. Let's start her up at number 5. I got to go with the Philadelphia 76ers. The 76ers have been tough this year, led by Joel Embiid, who's just been an automatic walking 30 and 10 dude. Dude right now is leading the league in scoring. I know right now the Sixers are on somewhat of a losing streak, but I must say that I believe them to be scarier than the Milwaukee Bucks. I know the Milwaukee Bucks right now have a better record than the Philadelphia 76ers, but Joel Embiid has been playing like he's trying to win his second MVP, and that could spell disaster for the rest of the league. I believe for like 6 or 7 straight games, dude just scored 30 and 10, like it was nothing. As I mentioned, leading the league in scoring. We've seen the development of Tyrese Maxey. I think they made some great trades when they got rid of James Harden and they bought back in like a Robert Covington, and you bring in the Morris twin. Like I believe right now Philly they have all the ingredients to be a scary NBA team, especially as the playoffs get near. Ladies and gentlemen, we're almost 42 games in the season. We're almost done with half of the season. The All-Star game is next month, February 16th through the 18th. It's time to start looking at the NBA seriously now and seeing who are the winners and who are the pretenders. And right now, I got the Philadelphia 76ers as a winner. Going in at number 4, I got to go with the Los Angeles Clippers. I'm telling y'all guys right now, I don't I don't I don't just go based off record when I'm choosing my teams that I like. I go based off what I'm seeing. I go based off my eyes and watching the game. And the Clippers right now has to be not just the scariest team in the Western Conference. They have to be one of the scarier teams in the NBA. The Los Angeles Clippers has been playing out of their mind now that they got this chemistry together. I got to give a huge shout out once again to Russell Westbrook on him being grown, being understandable, being responsible, being a leader, and recognizing that we're not going to win with me, James Harden, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard on the court together. Somebody's going to have to come off that bench. Somebody's going to have to lead this second unit. Somebody's going to have to sacrifice for the betterment of the team. And Russell Westbrook took that role on, and this team, since that decision has been made internally, has been one of the best decisions for the Clippers. Now, I didn't agree with it at first. I personally felt James Harden should have came off the bench. But now that James Harden is starting to get in the form, this dude has been looking scary. Like the point guard that they needed. He can score, he can hit the 3 point, he can get his own shot, he can get everybody else open. He loves to get everybody else open, and he realizes Kawhi Leonard is the star of this team. Let me get Kawhi buckets. And you can even tell with Kawhi that Kawhi loves playing with James Harden. I've never seen Kawhi Leonard so happy in my life. In a minute, we're going to be hearing him laugh a lot during his post game interviews. But all jokes aside, no, all jokes aside, though, Paul George has been playing amazing. Kawhi's been playing amazing. James Harden getting back into basketball shape, playing amazing. This team is deep. Russell Westbrook has been playing great for them off the bench. They got my boy Bones Highland. They got Terrence Mann. They got Zubac. They got some guys on this Clipper team to make you double check. They got my boy Norman Powell. These guys have been playing out of their mind. And right now, I don't think people are looking at their calendars and saying, I'm excited to play the Clippers. Clippers right now, fourth best team in the NBA. Let's keep it going, baby. At number 3, you know I had to go with the Denver Nuggets. You know I had to go with the Denver Nuggets. I had to go with the reigning champions. Uh, have they had the best year? No, not to what people were expecting, but they're still one of the best teams in the league, led by my boy Nikola Jokic. The Joker has been making this look easy. The guy is practically almost averaging a triple double. I think my only problem with the Nuggets is I need to see Jamal Murray make that next step. Like I need to see him go crazy. Like we saw his coming out party in the bubble when him and Donovan Mitchell had that epic duel. Like Donovan to score 50, Jamal Murray to score 50. And I think that's what Joker needs. Like Joker should always be the vocal part of your offense, but Jamal Murray should be the scorer. I think he's just too talented offensively to sometimes look like he's deferring to other people. And they got a squad over there, man. I like that kid Braun they got. You know, Kentavious Caldwell Pope. Aaron Gordon has been playing out of his mind this year. Michael Porter, a certified 3 and D guy, gonna get you at least 2 to 3 3 pointers a game. Gonna play defense. You got Reggie Jackson. You got DeAndre Jordan. Remember, he had a turn back the clock game. The Denver Nuggets, they have the recipe to win the championship again. And not to mention, Joker to me is still the best player in the NBA. He makes it look so easy. Like that's what a great player is. When you're a great player, you have other people watch you in your game, and you're like, I can go do that, but you can't. Like Kobe, the way he would do a 1-2 dribble pull up would make you think you can go to the court and do a one dribble pull up, a 1-2 dribble pull up. It ain't as easy as it looks. Like the way Steph Curry shoots the three, everybody think they can shoot the three like that, but it ain't as easy as it looks. That's what a great player is. A great player makes the game look so drastically easy that it makes the common person like myself think I can go out there and go do that. I ain't them dudes. The way Kyrie dribble, I can't dribble like Kyrie. And I'm just telling you right now, Joker makes it look easy. He's bigger than everybody. He's stronger than everybody. And he's clearly more skilled than everybody. And I think the Denver Nuggets are a scary team. Coming in at number two, got to go with the Oklahoma City Thunder, man. The Oklahoma City Thunder, led by my boy Shea Gilgeous Alexander, who's been on a tear as of late, has been crazy. This dude is a bona fide superstar. SGA makes it look easy. The dude can play you from either side of the court. He can finish at the rim. He can dunk you. Got the length and the height for it. He can hit you with the fadeaway. He can hit the occasional three. He definitely is one of the kings of the mid range. Shea Gilgeous Alexander, I know the Clippers got to sometimes be kicking themselves in the ass for letting this guy go. Like, this dude is a star, and he got support around him. I'm not gonna mention the guy, likes little girls because they clearly swept that under the rug. But you look at Chet Hogan, this dude might possibly be the rookie of the year. Like, he's averaging like 2 or 3 blocks a game. We saw the other night he went for 30 and SGA went for 30. Like, OKC right now are playing great basketball. They got my boy Dort over there. This team is not a team that you want to see in the playoffs and try to beat them 4 times. Like this, they're definitely well coached, and I just think SGA is just a pillar that holds everything together. But at number one, I gotta go with the Boston Celtics right now. The Boston Celtics is the scariest team in the NBA. Like, they have so much potential. Like Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum, they've tasted the finals before. They know what it feels like to get deep in the playoffs. And these guys want to win. I know they want to win. I don't question that at all. You bring in the unicorn and Kristaps Porzingis, and he just completely revamped how this team looks. You bring in Drew Holiday, and we see how this team plays defense. Derek White in his step up and play. Al Horford being in his right position. Uh, we've seen Michael Pritchard. This dude has been playing out of his mind. Like, and Sam Hauser, that's my dude right there. Been balling. Like, the Boston Celtics right now, nobody wants to see them, especially when all of them are healthy. Like, Tatum can give you 30, Jalen Brown can give you 30, Kristaps Porzingis can give you 30. Like, if Kristaps stay healthy, and that's what I'm banking my decision on. If Kristaps can stay healthy, Boston, I believe, is going to win the NBA championship. Like, I'm calling that now. Like, I don't see a team that could beat this team 4 games out of 7. I don't see it. Especially if they're all healthy, and especially if Jalen Brown, excuse me, Jalen, if Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum are aggressive. If they keep the attack on these teams, I don't see many teams that can beat them. And that's why I have Boston as my scariest team in the NBA. Now, we all know things are subject to change. I do like what Minnesota's been doing. Anthony Edwards has been a godsend, the way that he's been carrying the Minnesota Timberwolves. I just need to see Karl Anthony Towns really take that next step up and be the number two to Anthony Edwards, number one. Rudy Gobert doesn't have the capability to do that. Michael Conley, he's an older guard now. I don't believe he has the capability to do that. It's gonna take for Karl Anthony Towns to step up and be that number two behind Anthony Edwards one. And that's the reason why Minnesota didn't make my top list, even though right now they're number one in the Western Conference. It's a lot to talk about, y'all, man. We're gonna definitely keep our eyes on the NBA season as it progresses. As I mentioned, All Star Game is next month. Um, excuse me. I don't know if I mentioned this on the show, but the All Star Game is going back to its old format, so there will be no more pickup like picking up other teams. Uh, Starters get voted in by the fans. Bench players get voted in by everybody else, by the media and the coaches and their contemporaries. So I don't know why. I did like the idea of the Kobe tribute in which they tried to once we get to the fourth quarter, uh, uh, you know person that makes this target score wins. So, but they're going back to their traditional way. So I just want to see the All Star game be competitive. I understand it's not an actual game, but when you have all these stars come together, you do want to see what these guys can do if they take the game serious. And we've seen All Star games in the past where that fourth quarter comes around and you start to see who really wants to win and who's really the dog and the alpha amongst a bunch of alpha males, who's the top dog amongst a bunch of guys. So it'll be interesting to see how this All Star game go. But you know me, it ain't like I'm gonna be missing it. I'm gonna definitely be tuning in. Got some bad news in the NBA yesterday. John Morant is out for the season. During Saturday's practice, he suffered from a torn labrum. So that is injury that is going to end his season. As you guys know, John Morant was suspended for the first 25 games of the season this year due to his actions with firearms and other transgressions against the league. Excuse me, not illegal transgressions, just his transgressions in his image and how it came off to the league. They suspended him for 25 games. He came back and played nine. Things were starting to look up for Memphis. He came in and did what we expected him to do. Be Ja, bring that excitement, bring that athleticism, bring his game. I mean, you saw what happened when he had the head to head with Wimby. He dunked on Wimby big ass. That's what you got. I ain't scared of your 7'4" ass. I on top of your head, and it's just sad to see Ja go again. Like I was really excited to see if he could pull it off and get the Memphis Grizzlies into playoff contention. Now we know Memphis ain't going nowhere. They had already lost Steven Adams at the beginning of the season, and now due to injury, you are out now without John Morant, man. Our thoughts and prayers are with John Morant. Hope he's able to heal up, come back next season, and get back to work. Also, Draymond Green is in news as he has his podcast called the Draymond Green Show. And Draymond came out and made a statement about he thought about retiring. I'm gonna just let you guys hear it. This is what Draymond had to say.
I had a conversation with Adam Silver, commissioner of our league. I just told him, Adam, it's too much for me. Like, it's too much. Like, this is too much. It's all becoming too much for me. And I'm going to retire. And Adam said, you're making a very rash decision. And I won't let you do that. And I'm like, no, Adam, like, not really sure it's a rash decision. It's just all too much. You know, we had a long, great conversation, very helpful to me, very thankful to play in a league with a commissioner like Adam, who's more about helping you than hurting you, or helping you than punishing you, or, he's more about the players.
Now y'all know how I feel about Draymond. I got love for Draymond. Like I think he's a very important piece to that Warriors dynasty, and they don't win without having a Draymond Green. The freedom he allows Steph to play with by taking over the point guard duties, their connection on the 1-2 punch, or how he knows where Steph is going to be and where to set the screen, and just his overall basketball expertise and knowledge. Like Draymond Green is one of them. I don't care what y'all say, the average or triple single. I don't care what y'all talk about and the fact that he doesn't score over 10 points. What Draymond brings to the court and to the game, sometimes that cannot be measured by stats, which is why you have to watch the game. But what he just said right there was foolish. And that's why Draymond is my goofball of the week. Like, this man just sat up there and really had no accountability for what he's done. He's talking about it's too much for him. He's talking about he wants to retire because it's too much for him. Draymond, do you get that you are the too much? It's been your actions the reason why you've been suspended several times this season. It's been your actions on why Stephen A and other analysts out here are questioning the leadership ability of Steph Curry. Because you go on with no accountability of your actions. You're the reason Jordan Poole is no longer a Warrior. You're the reason of the cause of your suspensions, punching people in their eyes, kicking people in their groin areas, stepping on people's chests, choking people out. It's been you. He also goes on to say that he's talked to Steve Kerr and they both had a good cry about it, and that, Steve Kerr tells him we need to end this the right way. Draymond, you are a grown ass man. You shouldn't have to have Steve Kerr tell you that you should end your career in Golden State the right way. Do you know a lot of people blame you for them losing the ring, giving up a 3-1 lead against LeBron? Had you not went out due to kicking LeBron in his groin area and calling him the B word on the court, do you know that a lot of people think that the Warriors would have pulled out that game and you threw out the whole momentum of the series? Do you not understand that? Do you not understand that this season alone, you have been more harm than good for the Golden State Warriors? It's been on you, Draymond. It's always been on you. You need to keep your actions under control and realize, because if you would have punched somebody in the street like you punched Nurkic, they would have up banged on you, bro. Ain't nobody finna fight your big 6'6" ass. You got to get it together, Draymond. You are too grown and too smart of a guy to allow things like this to happen. I've talked about your genius on the basketball court, but you made great moves off the court. Look at the Draymond Green podcast and the success that you've had. Look at the success you've had as an analyst on Inside the NBA. Your business goals, teaming up with Bron and Rich Paul and getting everything that you want out of life. In no way, shape, or form am I going to call you a dummy, Draymond Green, but I will call you the goofball of the week. Also, as we wind down on this episode of Rob's 2 Cents, got to give a shout out to the Michigan Wolverines, Coach Harbaugh and them boys balled out as they defeated the Washington Huskies. What was it, 34-13, winning the national championship the national college championship. I mean, Michigan played a hell of a game. I mean, they came out the gate firing with their offense. They ran the ball. They got whatever they want. I believe they were already in like almost 200 yards in the first half. Now, Washington, credit to their defense, was able to slow that running game down. But Michigan still ended up with 303 total rushing yards as a team. Blake Corum had 21 carries for 134 yards and 2 touchdowns. Donovan Edwards had 6 carries for 104 yards and 2 touchdowns. You had 2 running backs get over 100 yards and 4 touchdowns between the 2 of them. 2 each. Wasn't no way in hell Washington was going to win that game, especially the way Michigan defense was playing. Golly. They beat the hell out that boy. I mean, my man's literally walked off the field holding his ribs with a towel over his head because you can tell it was hard for him to breathe. You saw him during the game breathing very deeply while he was holding on to his ribs as the game. I give him credit for finishing the game out. He didn't throw the white flag in. He said, "I'm gonna finish this thing with my team," and I appreciate that from Michael Penix Jr. He showed a lot of heart. But damn it, the way that Michigan defense attacked him. And remember, Michael Penix Jr. was a finalist for the Heisman Trophy. He was only 27 to 51 on the day, 255 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. And even though the defense, I think they only got 1 official sack, the way that they were able to just throw his game off completely was amazing to see. Michigan was definitely not leaving without becoming champions. And I just want to give a shout out to Coach Harbaugh. Now we don't know the future with Coach Harbaugh. We don't know, what other punishment is going to be given out with the scouting thing that was going on. And he might want to go back to the NFL. He might, hopefully come to the Bears. I won't be opposed to it. You come be our coach, Coach Harbaugh. But we don't know what's gonna happen with this whole scouting situation. But I do want to give credit where credit is due. Michigan came in, they had a hell of a game plan. They said we're gonna play smash mouth football. We're not gonna do anything pretty. We're gonna run the ball. We're gonna play defense, and we're gonna pin them back with our special teams if we have to punt the ball. And they came out and executed that game plan perfectly. Shout out to Michigan, man. You're new college champions. And shout out to the Big Ten, baby. We needed a championship to come back to us, baby. Shout out to that Big Ten, man. Yes, Lord. Thank you, baby, for watching. Go Blue. Hey, as we come down to the last of the show, I always like to have a video of the week. The video of the week this week comes from Terrence Crawford's daughter. If you guys don't know, Terrence Crawford is a 2-time undisputed champion in 2 different weight classes of boxing. He is the only male boxer to hold undisputed titles in 2 weight divisions. Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like the athleticism runs in the family because Talayla Crawford, his daughter, had an amazing track meet. And I've never seen anything like this. Y'all check out Rob's 2 cents video of the week.
Dang, I want to knock her. She ran out her shoe. Go to Leia. Go Lele. Go Lele. Let's go Lele. Good job, Lele. Let's go Lele. Let's go Lele. Let's go Lele. Let's go Lele. Lele. Let's go to Leia. Come on, mama. Let's go to Leia. Let's go to Leia. Let's go to Leia. Let's go to Leia. She ran out her shoe and had it. Let's go. She lost her shoe and had.
Crazy work. What my boy Shady McCoy say, crazy work. This young lady lost her shoe at the beginning of the race. Not only does she turn around, go back to the starting position to get her shoe, get it adjusted, she then takes off and proceeds to outrun everybody, which makes you question, if she didn't lose her shoe, how badly would she have beat the rest of them girls on that track field? You want to talk about having that dog in you. Now, we know what Terrence Crawford is capable of. I mean, we saw the ass whooping he put on Errol Spence. And as I mentioned, he's the only male boxer, not even Mayweather pulled this off, to be an undisputed champion in 2 different weight classes. Now, we've seen women do it. Clarissa Shields have done it. And I think she might be the only one I can think of that comes to my mind. But to be an undisputed champion is one thing. I mean, you hold all the titles in your weight class. To be an undisputed champion in 2 different weight classes, mean you had to move up in weight or move down in weight and proceed to do that again. And most likely it was to move up in weight, which which is what he did. That was amazing to see from his daughter, as I mentioned before, Talia Crawford or Talayla Crawford, Lele, as they called in the video. She, shout out to her. Shout out to her winning spirit and the way that she was able. I mean, I don't think she intentionally meant to embarrass them girls, but she embarrassed the shit out them girls. I mean, if we run in a race and you got time to go back, get your shoe, put it on, tighten it up, and then run and kick my ass, I probably would have quit running track and field that day. That just shows you them Crawfords got that dog in them, man. But that's my show, ladies and gentlemen, man. I appreciate everybody who chimed in on the comments, everybody who watched the video, even if it was for 1 second, man. Appreciate the love. I appreciate the likes. I appreciate the exposure, man. Continue to tell people to follow your boy. You know, you can catch me on all social media platforms. If you want to hear my 2 cents about the situation, all you got to do is reach out, baby. We just getting started. Got love for y'all, man. Hope y'all have a good, productive rest of the week. We are definitely going to be tuning in this weekend for the NFL playoffs. And as I mentioned, we are now getting ready to get into the second half of the NBA season, and that's when the real season starts. We're going to see who are winners and who are pretenders, baby. As always, keep progressing, keep moving forward, and hope y'all continue to chase your dreams and whatever that is, man. And you already know the slogan, baby. We gone. There's a bigger fight going on. There's a much bigger agenda than the streets. And I know sometimes it's hard to see that far in front of us, but we have to look past the illusions, look past the delusions of grandeur, and look at the bigger picture. We need to become better versions of ourselves each and every day. Fight for what you believe in. Because if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. We just getting started, baby. You guys know the slogan now. Hope you all have a great evening. And we gone.